Welcome to this week's Travelin Young, and I am on the couch in Denmark.
Back.
I'm
You're
not
back.
in America anymore.
Yes.
You have already hopefully seen the video in America when I made Livapastai with my mother.
It's quality entertainment. Many people liked Eddie.
But I wanted to talk about some, I don't want to say shocks because I don't think it's shocking anymore, but some observations since, a trip back to America. I always look at things differently. But before we get to that, I actually want to tell a little bit about a few things that I brought with me.
Yes.
The first is this jumbo shrimp hat.
Jumbo shrimp!
So I promised I would buy very strange baseball hats and wear them around Denmark. So I'm probably, I feel I can confidently say the only person in Denmark wearing a jumbo shrimp hat.
Probably.
Also, I bought a sock puppet hat, which is another team. So this is a minor league baseball team affiliated with a major league team. This is an independent league team, which are often even more interesting.
They have even more crazy amenities
the
to
sock
bring
puppet.
people
So
in.
I will occasionally be wearing my sock puppet hat from Burlington, North Carolina.
Yes.
Also, I went to Trader Joe's, so I got some pumpkin stuff. I know Danes don't care for pumpkin stuff, but I love me some pumpkin stuff. And I got a pumpkin syrup from World Market that we can add to our coffee.
And you brought me back my favorite pumpkin candies.
Yes.
But nice.
Lastly, I have this. This right here.
I will give it, you are dedicated.
When I made that pants video, I was serious.
Yeah.
This bottle is the bottle of well water that I bought at the airport before I left Denmark. I drank it on the plane, and then I kept the bottle to bring it back to get my pant back when I got home. So
the dedication.
This was probably treated with more love than anything else. But anyway, this week I'm going to talk about things that I observed when I was in the U.S. now that I'm back in Denmark on this week's Travelin' Young.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to this week's Travelin' Young. And as mentioned, I want to talk a little bit about some observations from my recent trip to the U.S. I've been back for 7 days now.
Not shocks,
7 days. Not shocks.
No.
Not shocks. But so first off, I want to say that when you live here away from the U.S., you're like, there's only so much information that you get about the U.S. and it's typically the most like extreme things that are newsworthy.
It's sensational.
Sensational stuff. And it starts to skew what you think about U.S. in terms of like safety, people, security, all that kind of stuff. And, it was really good to be there this time because I traveled when I was there. And during that trip, I stopped in some little towns in West Virginia and Pennsylvania. And I mean, it was just so nice to see average people and smile and greet you and just see regular stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
And not the extreme stuff that you see. And also, I mean, people get the impression in Europe because of the news that everybody's got holsters on and everything. And, but that is not true. I didn't see a single holster. And I was in downtown DC. I was on the road to through West Virginia. I drove through Maryland, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. And I started in Virginia and nothing. In downtown Pittsburgh, nothing. So, I mean, that was really, really nice.
Yeah.
Just to see. And you can kind of, because right now, actually, I think one thing that America typically does is they kind of band together when things happen. And that's what's happening in Florida right now with the hurricanes. You see a lot of great stories of people on boats that are going to
saving the dogs and getting, helping people,
bringing
get
in
out
food
and
and
stuff.
all this stuff. Yeah. Shelter and all these things. And that's, to me, has always been what America and Americans were about. But those stories get lost, I feel, right now when you're not living in the U.S.
Yeah.
And it was so nice to get connected to that stuff again.
And just to clarify, when we're talking about, it's nice to see people, smiling and stuff, that's not a dig at Danes or anything. It's just that that's just not something you see. You don't see the fluffy stories coming out of America. It's all the very, honestly depressing stories.
I mean, but I will say that Americans are typically more willing to greet. It's more common for an American to greet and say, how are you, to a stranger when you walk somewhere, when you're in an elevator or something like that. Although more and more of that's happening in Denmark. But not so much in Copenhagen, I don't think. And so from that perspective, it's just seeing a normal American that greets you and connect with you, eye contact, and you're like, this is it's nice. It's nice. So that was like one of my favorite parts of the trip. And being a tourist this time around, I was able to kind of think a little differently.
Yeah.
And that was nice. I really enjoyed the road trip. And I'm going to have a video about the road trip eventually. Maybe later this week. We'll see. Because I took a road trip, an American road trip by myself. I drove by myself. I saw friends when I got there. So that was one thing. The next thing, this was kind of a shock, actually, because, I mean, right now, the economic climate in the U.S., inflation is, like, super high.
Yeah, it's really
And
high.
I think it's even greater than it would be in Denmark at the moment. And I thought the prices of things, I went out to a bar and had a beer with a friend, and I went to the store and brought stuff to bring back here. I felt like the prices were starting to get inch closer and closer to what it is in Denmark. I mean, and
probably because of the cost of transportation.
and if there were three of us, like going out to eat and stuff, it would have been, you know, it was just me. So, I mean, because I went one day somewhere to eat. I can't remember where it was. Well, Cracker Barrel. And when I ate at Cracker Barrel, I'm sure I paid like $35-$40 for two people.
Oh,
you know, that's getting closer.
Getting up there. That's more than it has been in the past, I think.
Yeah, and a beer was almost the same price when I went to a brewery in Pittsburgh.
Surprising.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was a big surprise. I mean, it's certainly not quite as much as Denmark, and I'm not going to go into, it fluctuates a ton, but I will say that I'm surprised at how much more expensive things were this trip as it has been in past trips. Yeah. One thing I think you totally missed, since you weren't with me, and I was surprised at, well, actually, I'm not surprised. Danes were surprised when I posted this on Instagram, how successful soccer is. I went to a DC United match. They have a brand new stadium. I didn't go to a baseball game.
I was so mad I missed this. I've been wanting to go back and see DC United.
Yeah, and it was a ton of fun. And yeah, I think it was great to see so many people at the game. Great energy, even though we lost 3-2 and gave up a goal in extra time, but it was still fun.
Yeah, I mean, we were diehard DC United fans, and even when we moved to Chicago, we still supported DC United. So I'm very jealous that you got to see their new stadium, because I've never seen it. I still remember old RFK Stadium.
Well, we had season tickets when we lived in DC, because we moved to Chicago in 2010.
Yeah.
And we had season tickets, you know, for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Before then. And it was fun because when, like, at some point, one of my friends, Foz, he started in our season tickets with us. And then when we moved, I kind of, like, turned them over to him.
We were like, take care of our babies.
And so I saw him at the game, and I sat where we would have probably had tickets with him if we still lived there. So that was a lot of fun. And I think Danes were a bit shocked, but everybody's like into this. Like, we're getting close to World Cup fever, so
it's cool.
You know, it's super cool.
Yeah.
So what do you think? You know, you weren't there.
No.
And you didn't go this year at all.
No.
So you won't be back till sometime next year. That's a pretty big gap. How do you think you'd feel if you went back now? How do you feel now? Has it evolved since your last trip?
I don't know. I know the last time that we went, that was kind of a time I felt really overwhelmed, because I think the times before that was like we were so busy, we were going back and seeing families, and it was still all kind of new, and I think we still weren't quite feeling as at home in Denmark as we are now. And then the last time I went, I was just really kind of like overwhelmed with how it is, like how different it is. And I think I still feel like I would feel that way, that, like, you know, I feel like the more time I spend here, the less connected I am.
Yeah, but it's also nice to feel more like a tourist and to be...
Yeah, and I think there's...
Like, then you just appreciate things differently when you're not... Yeah.
You're in the moment a bit more, I think. You know, there's less kind of... I don't know if this is the right way to explain it, but there's less baggage, you know? Like, you're just going... You're there for a fun time, not a long time, you know, and so you just kind of concentrate on having fun and stuff, and that's just what it becomes.
Yeah.
And you know you're going to go back home and get the comfort of home, and it's just like, now the comfort of home is in Denmark.
Yeah, but I will say, because I was trying to maximize my tourist trip, I barely slept. And I slept on...
I'm glad I missed that part.
I slept on, 2 couches at my parents' house, because when my aunt and uncle came... As you might have seen in the Liverpool, I moved couches. I slept on Kira's pull-out couch once because I went to see Kira, and she went with me to the soccer match. And I stayed at her place that night, and it was a pull-out couch. And then my friend in PA, they had an actual legit bed. And while I mean, that was the best sleep I got the whole time I was there. And I was like, oh, this bed is so nice. So I barely slept, and that's probably one of the reasons why this is like one of the worst jet lag
Couch
I've ever
surfing
had.
the whole
I didn't
time.
sleep there. I'm struggling. I've been back a week now. I think it was Friday. So this is a surprise. This is one of the worst jet lag I've ever had. And Friday was the first day I woke, and I got back Sunday, so it was like 5 days later. First day I woke up and didn't have that like fog feeling, you know?
Yeah.
Like for days you're just like disoriented and there's this
happening.
fog and your brain is like all fuzzy. I don't know how to describe it, you know? But Friday I was just tired.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather just be tired than in this like, what happened? How did I get here? Did I come? I mean, the first day I took the train into work, I at least once walked and like tapped my Riser card again.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
did I do that?
Yeah.
I don't remember if I tapped it or not. And it's like, burp, burp. Yeah. I guess I did.
You like wake up and you question where you're at. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did that there actually.
Yeah.
I was normal here, but when I was there were a couple times I'm like, at Curious, I woke up and I'm like, where am I at? Why am I here? This is weird. What's happening? So yeah, I haven't done that here so much, but but I kept forgetting things and having to go back and recheck stuff since I've been back. It was a rough jet lag, but I've been back 7 days now. And I think I'm tired.
I think you're over the hump.
But I'm over the hump of being like disoriented.
Yeah.
And it's so much harder coming back here.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the jet lag coming back?
Coming this direction.
Yeah.
Like when
it's tough.
I was telling people when we lived in the U.S., we'd come to Europe on vacation, and then you're just like
going,
excited though, because you're like, I'm gonna see a place I've never been to before.
Yeah.
And you're like pumped, and you don't want to sleep because you want to maximize everything. And then when you get back home. In the U.S., when I'd get back home, it'd be like, you'd be waking up at 7 a.m., 5 a.m.
Yeah.
You'd be starting work at 7 a.m. You're like the most productive that first week. You're like, oh, I'm up early. It's great. I can go to bed at 9 o'clock. It's all good. But when you come here, when you live here, it's not. It's not
the
great
reverse.
at all. It's the reverse. You wake up at 7 a.m. sleeping on a couch.
And
then here, you're like miserable going to work. Yeah. But anyway, it was super good to go. I'm not sure yet when I'm going to be back again, but I had a great time. Saw Kira, saw Foz and Hadi, saw my parents, Uncle Eddie, my sister, my friend in PA.
Yeah.
I mean...
You saw it all. And
I saw it all. And I saw Drew Holcomb. But I'm not going to say any more about the PA trip because that's going to come up on the road trip video. And let's stop there.
Yeah.
But down below, I'm going to show the video of when Maya and Miranda...
When we talked
about their trip to the U.S. when we were there at Christmas.
Shocks that we had.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we're going to say that's it for now.
That's it. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.